Chris Hansen is back for like a fourth time.
Why don't you take a seat?
Oh, I don't want to take a seat.
Have a seat.
No, I'm just gonna go.
Take a seat right over there.
How does he do that?
Yeah, he is still trying to profit off of this whole predator catching thing. Not the predator from the movies, we're talking child predators. As back in the mid to early 2000s, a show on Dateline was started which was called To Catch Predator, where they would set up decoys when the predator wanted to meet with the underage child. Now, obviously those decoys were 18 or older, but the decoy knew that they were talking to someone who was around 13, 14, 15 years old.
What? No way.
Then after talking with the decoy for a while, Chris Hansen would then pop out and do that whole have a seat thing. But that show ended not necessarily tragically, because I don't feel bad for the person here, as they caught this, I think it was like minister at some church, and when they went to his house to try to, I guess, you know, confront him in a way, the pastor, who, keep in mind, was talking very, very, very sexual to an underage child, or what they thought to be an underage child, ended up killing themselves because, well, I guess they couldn't handle the punishment for being an absolute pervert. And because of what took place and maybe how the situation was handled, To Catch a Predator was canceled. And Chris Hansen kind of went on like this 5-6 year hiatus, but then he came back with the new show, Hansen vs. Predator, around 2012. Now these were, you know, around the same length as the To Catch a Predator, and they were uploaded on YouTube and with True Crime Daily this time, which Chris Hansen then took over at that point in time. Of course, those videos were doing monster numbers, but again, there was something that led to its cancellation and Chris Hansen being fired from Dateline altogether, and that would be Chris Hansen's arrest. Now, I know what you're thinking. Please, God, don't tell me Chris Hansen got arrested for what he catches these people for. And no, he did not get arrested for that. He got arrested for cashing a fraudulent check or some sort of like minor fraud, and he turned himself in, so he got a lesser punishment. I think it had to be like some sort of probation. He avoided jail time, and he continued on doing stuff after that, as he would then try to make a third attempt at kind of trying to recapture the To Catch a Predator, Hansen vs. Predator kind of show. However, that one didn't go well because, well, the editing was atrocious, and frankly, it was kind of boring.
Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Good.
What?
But now, here we are on the channel True Blue, and it seems like they have teamed with Chris Hansen and have formed Takedown with Chris Hansen. And again, it's basically the same format as To Catch a Predator, is the only difference is they don't have a decoy. So what does this lead to? Well, it leads to the Predator getting arrested immediately, which, why did Chris Hansen get so much from the Predators early on when we talk about the first two adaptations of the show? It's because he would have the decoy, you know, meet with the Predator, and then he would come out and talk to the Predator, and then would announce, oh, this is a show we're doing, and then the cops would come out.
I'm Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Boy, if you don't get...
But when you have him in cuffs for the first time, and he gets read his Miranda rights, then this person is going to want to say less, because they're already knowing that they're arrested and anything they say can and will be used against them in the court of law. So I don't like the fact that there's no decoy here, because now the content is just going to become less and less, or at least that's what I thought. But the one episode of this I decided to watch, with it fittingly being baseball season, was this one. Leo the umpire strikes out. Now, this guy is 25 years old. He has an aspiration to become a Major League Baseball umpire, which, go for it, I guess, but Major League Baseball umpires are some of the most hated people in sports. So if you want to become one of the most hated people in the sport, then be my guest. Not even realizing he became one of the most hated people that you could be. Leo's excuse was he was horny, bored, so he got on Tinder and decided to talk to a 13-year-old. And what makes this so controversial is people say, well, this could be seen as entrapment by Chris Hansen and his crew. That's always been the argument. But the thing with entrapment is if Chris Hansen's group were to contact first and lure that person in, then yeah, it would be entrapment. But Chris Hansen's crew always has the predator answer first. If that person answers first and starts talking to them, then they talk to them and they let them know their age. They'll say, well, I'm 13, 14. Do you really want to, have sex and all this kind of stuff? And if the predator goes, oh yeah, that's fine, then obviously, that's where they're kind of like, okay, we got this guy because we just told him our age and he contacted first talking all this sexual shit, and now he still wants to do it. So it's just like the entrapment thing is out of the window. But the big thing here, especially with this show that I saw from the couple episodes that I did decide to watch and one that I watched in full, I don't know how seriously Chris Hansen is taking this anymore. When it first started back then, it felt like he was really trying to educate people on the dangers of cyber predators and all this kind of stuff. Because the first couple of episodes of the show, I believe he didn't have police on site with him. But when there was guys who were repeat offenders, then he realized, oh, well, we can arrest them for this. I mean, just from the chat alone for a lot of these guys, it's illegal, especially when they start sending explicit pictures to minors as well.
I'm just gonna get something to eat.
But now it's like Chris Hansen's just like more trying to do the not necessarily humiliation factor, but I feel like with the way things are run now, it's not that he doesn't care, but he's still going for more the entertainment value, which I understand. Early on, To Catch a Predator and even Hansen vs. Predator had some very quote-unquote memeable and memorable predators.
Wait at the bar for like 5 minutes and then follow me up, okay?
Whereas recently, you're just kind of watching what Chris Hansen's doing. It's like, it's not, like, you can't strike lightning in a bottle twice, which Chris Hansen did, but a third time and a fourth time, you're starting to push the boundaries here. And I think since YouTube has grown and more of these channels have shown up on YouTube where people are trying to catch predators, some the right way, some the wrong way.
Please, can you actually let me get my supplements so I can actually go home so I can poop?
This guy's here to meet a 13-year-old boy for I'm a weirdo? Yeah. Why do I have a picture of his asshole if I'm a weirdo?
What do you mean by that?
It's kind of become a thing where we're all just not necessarily getting tired of it. We want you to catch the predators, that's fine. But no one ever seems to do it differently. It's always got to be the same thing, public shame, or, this, that, and the other. And it's like everybody's trying to be a Chris Hansen clone. And Chris Hansen is trying to reinvent himself in some way, but yet it all still comes off as the same. And I don't really think his personality is quite where it used to be.
I will get to that in a minute. Go ahead, have a bite. Coming to meet a young girl?
Yeah, is it against the law?
It is after this chat. Let's see if any of this sounds familiar while you enjoy your pizza. How old are you? You might as well just tell me, because I can find out like that.
Is that against the law to
have sex with a 13-year-old girl when you're 44? Yes, it's against the law.
He used to have these snarky remarks. He used to, like I said, sound very, serious and interested as to, what goes through your mind when you're doing this? Why would someone who's underage be so attractive to you to now just being like, you wanted to come have sex with a 14-year-old boy, girl, whatever, so, let's not necessarily laugh at you, but let's humiliate you as much as we can, which, again, these people deserve it, mostly guys that he catches. I think it's been all guys that he's caught, but there's better ways to go about it, and Chris Hansen has just kind of become a boring figure. Again, I don't know what it is, but ever since that arrest and Hansen vs. Predator was just canceled, it seems Chris Hansen's just grasping at straws at this point to stay relevant, not realizing that, you know, his show will live on forever and be one of the best things ever made when it comes to entertainment, and also pointing out the dangers in kids being online and talking to adults and all that kind of stuff who always end up being predators. But now I think we're more aware of it than ever, and just continuing to point it out is just, how do I put this? Because I feel it always needs to be pointed out, but in the way Chris Hansen does it, it just comes off as so outdated that he seems to be stuck in 2006, 2007, and can't seem to get out, and that is the main problem with it overall. I think another thing too is the niche, you know, now with social media and YouTube as big as ever, everyone on YouTube who does these videos is just trying to be Chris Hansen and not necessarily trying to differentiate themselves from him. That by the time Chris Hansen comes back and does this whole predator catching thing, we're already kind of tired of it in a way, and we know that when Chris Hansen pops up again, that these videos are just going to pop back up, gain the popularity again, and just kind of oversaturate the content before it. Do I commend him for still, you know, going out and doing this? Yeah, but could be done a different way now, and he's just, it's all the same format every time he does it. It's just the name changes slightly, or to just something that, you know, it's like, blank with Chris Hansen, and it's like, you know what it is when you see it, because, well, he's done the same thing for years, other than when he was on True Crime Daily, he would narrate some of the murder documentary things, but that's about it for him in this case. He's also tried podcasting and other things, which have been cool, but again, the way he does them, they're just so boring and outdated. Like, you can tell he's an old dude that is so out of touch with the social media era that he's just trying to appeal so hard, not realizing that he's like bottom tier when it comes to trying to do stuff like that. So overall, that's my thoughts. I just saw this the other day and I've been like, wow, it's actually been going on for quite a while. The first episode was actually about 2 months ago, and as of making this video, they released something just a week ago where they caught a 70-year-old who apparently wanted to have like a daddy-daughter relationship with a 13-year-old.
They're not a great father thing.
Well, what the hell is it then, Donnie?
So yeah, I will link the playlist to Takedown with Chris Hansen in the description below so you can watch it for yourself, but I don't think you're going to get the same enjoyment out of it as, say, To Catch a Predator or Hansen versus Predator, but who knows? Maybe this format is more for you. Maybe you like the fact that they catch the predator right away and then talk to him, even though that's the backwards way to go about it, but that's, you know, just how it is now. So yeah, that's it for me. Stay safe out there, and until then, I will catch you all in the next one.
I'm not gay or anything. I'm just saying.
Well, this isn't about gay
No,
or
I'm
straight.
just saying. I'm straight.
Nobody
I'm just
cares
saying.
what adults do.
No, I'm
you know?
just saying.